Hello everyone, my name is Alex. I'm an immigrant from Georgia, and for a long time I considered myself a liberal, but my experiences in United States has changed that, and let me expand on that. I first came to US in 2011 as an exchange student, and later I returned with my father to fulfill his dream to see Las Vegas. Back home I worked in politics, even managed campaigns and collected donations when the first war happened in 2014 in Ukraine. But eventually, for personal and political reasons, I decided to leave in 2016 and immigrate to United States permanently. When I landed in New York, it was December 2016, and I was leaving the airport. There was Trump everywhere on all the TVs. I even stopped and watched a little bit, I remember. Yeah, it was very, very intimidating. I didn't know what was coming, and I'm sure no one did. And I was intimidated. Even though I came legally and followed all the procedures, I was still intimidated. The first years were very tough. I worked hard, paid taxes, did everything by the book. It took me 7 years to get my green card, and next year I'll be able to apply for citizenship, and I can't wait. But as I settled in, something started to bother me. I started to notice that the liberalism in United States is not the same liberalism that I grew up with in Georgia. Instead of defending free expression, people were cheering for cancel culture and censorship, and taking away, basically slowly taking away the little aspects of freedom of speech. At its core, liberalism should mean liberties, free speech, free expression, living without fear. And conservatism is more about trust in traditions and institutions and responsibilities. So when I saw liberals here policing speech and expanding more and more what hate speech means, the things didn't add up. It didn't seem like liberal ideals to me. How can you call yourself a liberal and silence people? That's opposite of freedom, and history proves it. In Soviet Union, censorship and policing the speech was one of the core functions of the government and one of the fundamentals of it. And I know from my own experience that once the movement silences its opponents, it silences its own eventually as well. But still, I didn't walk away. I thought that I wasn't seeing the best of the left. And then 2020 happened. George Floyd and his death was tragic, and the video, the footage was just so hard to watch, and I felt really, really bad about it, like any other normal person would. But what followed next was unbelievable to me. Businesses burned down, enormous protests, violence, like unbelievable. What shocked me is that this people kneeling in insane demonstration of guilt. I'm a proud white man. I would never in my life kneel to someone just because of color of my skin. But then I just thought, okay, maybe that's culture. I'm from Georgia. I don't understand. Maybe this is a cultural thing, and I shouldn't think too much of it. And as someone from post-socialist country, it really hurts to see the left embrace socialism like that. I know what socialism is. I've seen the aftermath. I've seen what socialism has done to a country. But here, to see the left just treat Marx, and what's even worse than that, Lenin, as a hero, is just very upsetting to me. But again, I said, okay, they don't know. How would they know? How would they know? They never had it. They had never seen it in action. They read these fairy tales and they believe it. But I just said again, they probably don't know. But over time, I realized that the narrative didn't match the reality. They told me that Trump hated me. They told me that I was in danger because I was an immigrant. But I have never had any problems either with ICE or any other law enforcement because I didn't break any laws. I didn't have any problem with them during Trump or during Biden. So, I don't know, that was a little confusing to me. The turning point for me was when the left started celebrating, the liberals started celebrating violence when there was an attempt on Trump. I remember I walked into this cafe that I used to go, and it was an extremely liberal cafe, and I saw the person that I knew, and the person seemed distressed. So I asked them, is it because of the shooting? And they affirmed, they were like, yes. And then I thought to myself, oh great, some common sense. So there are people on this side that think that it's not a good thing when the president gets shot. Right? But then the logic was that that person was sad because they missed, that they didn't get Trump. That's why they were sad. And as the day went on, more and more people shared the same sentiment. And that to me just was too crazy. And that hit me like a punch in the gut, because then I realized that the left doesn't really want to debate. That's not their goal. They want to kill you. They want to destroy you. They want to destroy you until someone comes so weak that they can debate them easily. Right? At least that's what I think. So like, if they can't debate you, they want to kill you. If they can't defeat you, they want to kill you. That's the sentiment. Then what happened after that was another tragedy. The Iryna Zarutska was stabbed. It's a Ukrainian refugee, 21 years old. She was stabbed in North Carolina by this repeat offender who was 14 times released by this judge. And it happened in August 22 in 2025, but we haven't heard anything for months. For months. It's a vicious crime. And we didn't hear anything, and the only right side started reporting on it. And once they started reporting on it, the left started talking about it, and the manner they were talking about it, it just pissed me off. They were trying to justify it. They're trying to take it away, the racial part of it. They were trying to paint this man who is a demon as a victim. He's a 14-time offender. He's a criminal. 14 times he has committed serious crimes and was released. 31-year-old man killed 21-year-old refugee who wasn't doing anything. There were other people in that bus. There were other people. There were black men. But this little girl was weaker. She was a victim. She was easy kill. So this guy took her out, and not only he took her out, he walked and stated, "I got that white girl." And they tried to paint it as mental health problem. They tried to paint it as something else than what it was. There was no protests. There was no businesses burnt down. The contrast was clear. There was huge difference between that and what was in 2020. And where was the outrage? nowhere. So that silence told me everything. And then, as if this wasn't enough, came Charlie Kirk's shooting. I remember it so well because it literally happened a couple days ago. I just got out of the meeting at work, and my partner called me and told me that Charlie got shot. And I couldn't believe at first, and I said, "Are you sure?" She said yes, and then I hung up my phone and I sat down and I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was refreshing the page over and over again to just, maybe it's not true, maybe it's fake, maybe it's AI. And then while I was at work, it was confirmed because Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that Charlie's dead. And then I knew he was dead. I couldn't do anything at all. And not that I agreed with Charlie. I disagreed on a lot of things with Charlie. For instance, I disagreed with him on Ukraine, obviously. I disagreed with him on abortion. I don't really know where I stand on abortion, but like how aggressive he was with it, I really didn't agree fully with that. And I also disagreed with him the level of importance he thought the NATO had. But overall, I had a huge respect for the man because he went out there, he debated people, he was not afraid to speak, and he got killed for it. So I used to watch him a lot, and I still watch him, and it felt very personal because I watched him. I live in New York. It's a very liberal, sanctuary city. People here are very liberal, and I didn't talk much about it. It was my thing. Me and my partner used to watch him, and it was entertaining, it was interesting, and it was powerful. It made me think that there is future, there is place for discussion. But they killed him. It felt very, very personal. It felt like a personal attack on a lot of people. I didn't know him, but it felt like I was also personally attacked. What was even worse, the reaction from liberals and from the left was people were cheering, people were happy, people were saying he deserved it. That was my final straw. That was just disgusting behavior. And I just no longer can associate myself with the left and with the Democrats. I really tried. I really wanted to associate. I believe in liberties. I believe in liberal ideas. But what liberal ideas are, they have twisted and changed so much that I don't recognize this side, or this political side anymore. Next year, I will become a citizen. And I will vote with my conscience. That I will not vote for the party that tolerates crazy levels of censorship, celebrates violence, and more importantly, the side that demonizes half of the country. I wanted to be a Democrat. I wanted to be a liberal. But my honor, my upbringing, and my values won't let me. Rest in peace, Charlie, and rest in peace, Iryna. The fight never stops.